After the events of the Batman, a criminal known by the alias Penguin creates a plan to take control of Gotham's underworld. Hi, Studio Recap here. Today, we're going to talk about a show called The Penguin, released in 2024, in the drama, crime genre. Spoiler alert is on. Take care. The story takes place in the dark city of Gotham, where crime and corruption run rampant in its streets. The source of these crimes has always been two notorious families, the Falcons and the Maronis. After Carmine Falcone is killed, his empire falls into the hands of his brother, Luca. Carmine's son, Alberto, claims that he wants to be his father's successor. Oswald Cobblepot, a man with a terrifying appearance and a limp, is called the Penguin because of his gait. Seeing an opportunity to advance, he heads to Alberto's office to take something important. However, he's shocked when he sees Alberto there. Alberto talks about a new drug he plans to introduce to the market. He's wearing his father's ring and feels powerful. Alberto starts mocking and humiliating Oswald. In response, Oswald shoots him, kills him, and cuts off his pinky finger along with the ring. Oswald notices a group of teens trying to steal the rims off his car. They all run off, and only a teenager named Vic gets caught. He asks Vic to help him throw the body into the trunk of the car. After that, they head to a woman named Pearl. Oswald has had a sexual relationship with Pearl and has financially supported her for a long time. He asks her to lie if needed, claiming they were together all night. When Vic realizes Oswald plans to kill him, he begs him to let him help and work for him. At first, Vic was scared of Oswald and his actions, but over time, he gets drawn into the gangster life and becomes interested in working with him. The Falcons, in a meeting, ask Oswald to move the drug production to another city. Oswald strongly disagrees, but no one takes him seriously. Eventually, he talks about a revolution in the drug industry, exactly the product Alberto had mentioned to him. At that moment, Sofia Falcone, the daughter of the family, walks in and overhears Oswald's words. Sofia is a psychopathic killer who spent 10 years in Arkham Asylum. She asks Oswald where Alberto is and starts questioning him. They then go to a restaurant to have a meal. Sofia asks Oswald how he knew about her brother's new drug plan. The drug production was actually Sofia's idea, but she doesn't understand why Oswald is bringing it up as if it was his own. Oswald makes an excuse, saying that because of Alberto's addiction, he wanted to get the idea out there sooner. Oswald goes to visit his mother, Frances, who has been ill and suffers from dementia. He wants to take Frances away because he believes it's no longer safe for her there. He tells her everything, but she refuses to leave. She tells him not to run away and encourages him to stand firm with what he's done. The Maroni family is led by Salvatore Maroni, who is currently in prison. Oswald visits him and tells him he's done with the Falcons and wants to offer his services to him. Oswald plans to steal drugs from the Falcons during their transport and suggests to Salvatore that they split the profits. Salvatore initially refuses, but after receiving the power ring that belonged to Alberto, he agrees. In this deal, Oswald plays the role of a double agent. Sofia's men capture Oswald and take him to her. Sofia learns through one of the kids who tried to steal Oswald's car that he must know something about Alberto's condition. At that moment, a car with continuous honking catches Sofia's attention. In the trunk of the car, she finds her brother's body, and on the trunk door, it says, "Revenge." This was Alberto's plan, carried out with Vic's help, to pin the murder on someone else. As soon as Sofia sees her brother's body, she becomes visibly distressed, and Dr. Rush, the only person who had supported her during her time in Arkham, helps her. The Maroni family, who had killed Alberto after receiving the ring from Oswald, are initially furious. But Oswald convinces them to take the blame for the murder. In exchange for the goods he will steal from the Falcons, Oswald shares his plan to rob the Falcons during their shipment with Edward, one of the key members of the Maroni family. Oswald's betrayal and moral duality come to light as he sacrifices his closest allies to maintain his position. His plan unfolds, and Sofia confidently says that one of their own is a spy. Luca ignores Sofia's words completely. Meanwhile, Oswald grows closer to Sophia, agreeing with her about the spy situation and telling her he believes she deserves to be the boss. He sees the new shipment as a way to solidify Sophia's power. However, public perception of Sophia remains that of a serial killer. Sophia, through a drug-addicted detective who used to work for her father, tries to uncover the truth. The detective agrees to cooperate in exchange for money and drugs. Pearl has also discovered that Oswald is the one who killed Alberto. She's worried about her own safety and that of her 3 daughters, but Oswald reassures her that nothing will happen to them. Francis constantly encourages Oswald to become an important person, no matter the cost. Oswald gets pictures of Luca's wife's affair with Johnny Vitti, Luca's right-hand man, and asks Vic to place them in Luca's car, but Vic fails. During Alberto's funeral, the detective wants to see Sophia. He has drugged Edward with morphine and brought him to Sophia. Sophia plans to use Edward to find out who the spy is. When Oswald learns that Edward is in the basement, he informs the Falcon family. Then, secretly, he goes there and kills Edward with a knife, because if Edward had spoken, it would have been disastrous for Oswald's position and everyone would have known he was the traitor. When the Falcons find Edward's body in the basement, they are certain that there is a spy within their ranks. They search everyone in the house and the guards for the knife. Oswald slips the knife into the pocket of Sophia's most trusted man, and when the knife is found, Luca has the man killed. Oswald threatens Vic, telling him that if he fails to complete his tasks again, he will be killed. Vic had once been in a relationship with a girl named Graciela. One night, while he and Graciela were out with some friends, a massacre occurred in the city, and many people were killed. Vic lost his sister, mother, and father in the attack. After working for Oswald for some time, Vic wants to meet Graciela again and plans to run away with her to another country. However, he fears that because he knows too much, Oswald will have him killed, so he stays silent. Sophia and Oswald go to check out the new substance they've been discussing, called Bliss. It's a highly sensitive drug made by carefully storing certain mushrooms in specific conditions of temperature and location. When Sophia was in Arkham Hospital, they used this substance to calm and sedate the patients. The Falcons ask Sophia to go to Italy and give her only 2 days to prepare. Oswald and Sophia, in search of a new distributor for Bliss, meet with a major Chinese mafia group. Oswald arranges the meeting through a man named Link, who is the vice president of the organization. Link mentions that no one from the Falcon family is supporting them, but when they bring up Johnny Vitti's name and his affair with Luca's wife, they manage to silence him. That night, during a test party for Bliss, the crowd's enthusiastic response convinces the Chinese mafia to agree to work with them. When Oswald realizes that Vic plans to leave and had been too scared to speak up earlier, they argue, and Oswald tells him that if he doesn't want to be with him, he can leave. Vic walks away but later regrets it and returns to Oswald. At that moment, the Maronis, having followed Oswald and realizing he's been playing them, bring them both to their knees and prepare to kill Oswald. However, Vic runs one of them over with a car, saving Oswald's life, and they both flee without Sophia. Sophia then realizes Oswald's betrayal and double-dealing. On the other hand, the Maronis now control all the mushrooms. In the past, during a charity event, a journalist approaches Sophia and tells her that her father was a serial killer who strangled women and then hung their bodies after killing them. Sophia remembers that her mother had died the same way. Her father had never talked about her mother's death and refused to answer any questions. The whole family had a rule that no one was allowed to speak to reporters. Oswald had once been Sophia's driver and overheard the conversation between Sophia and the journalist. Sophia's father had planned to name her as his successor, but after Oswald learned about the conversation, he saw his own position in danger, since the journalist's story seemed to be true. Oswald gets promoted in his work, but because of her father's plan, Sophia becomes known as the killer of all the serial murders and is sent to Arkham. Sophia is told she needs to stay in Arkham for 6 months until her court trial. However, after 6 months, she's informed that the court has decided she should stay longer because she's too dangerous for society. Except for Dr. Rush, everyone at the hospital pressures and torments Sophia, calling her the butcher. Eventually, due to the immense pressure, she attacks another patient, further confirming her reputation as a killer. She spends 10 years at Arkham, enduring intense electric shocks and other forms of abuse, controlled by a red-colored drug, just like all the other patients. After Sophia leaves Arkham, Dr. Rush resigns from his position and, feeling guilty for the wrongs done to Sophia, decides to help her. He had developed feelings for her during her time at the hospital. At a family dinner, Sophia talks about the injustices done to her and her mother by her father and the entire Falcon family. She declares that tomorrow she will start a new life and plans to leave the family. In the middle of the night, Sophia takes a little girl named Gia, the only innocent child in the family, to the greenhouse where they both sleep. After Gia falls asleep, Sophia heads back to the house and kills all of her family members by turning on the gas. The only survivor of this massacre is Johnny. Gia is then sent to an orphanage. Sophia tells the police that, at Gia's mother's request, she had been sleeping outside the house with her and doesn't know who killed her family, nor does she know where Johnny is. In reality, she is hiding Johnny to figure out where her father kept the cash. Eventually, Johnny agrees to cooperate with Sophia. Oswald captures Joey, the son of the Maroni family, and takes him to Croydon. In a conversation with Salvatore and his wife Nadia, Oswald arranges to hand over the mushrooms in exchange for Joey the next day. Oswald then sends someone to kill Salvatore in prison. Salvatore is wounded but manages to kill the assailant and survives. When Oswald delivers Joey, soaked and naked, to his family, as soon as Joey reaches Nadia, he drops a lighter on the ground and burns both of them alive. At that moment, it starts raining, and all the mushrooms are ruined. Sophia changes her family name from Falcon to Gigante, her mother's surname, during a meeting. She distributes a large sum of money among her people and tells them that she won't treat them like pawns as her father did. In response to Johnny's objections, Sophia shoots him in the head, killing him. To protect Frances, Vic takes her to the house of a friend who was killed. Sophia approaches Salvatore and asks him to unite against their main enemy, Oswald. Vic learns that Oswald had once lived in the same neighborhood as him. Oswald takes Vic to an abandoned underground place in the area and suggests they use it to produce and distribute bliss. The production in the underground facility is going smoothly. Oswald employs people from the same neighborhood and pays them well. With this strategy, those who work for him also protect him and remain loyal. Meanwhile, Sophia and Salvatore break some of the small-time dealers of bliss to show everyone what will happen to them if they work with Oswald and buy bliss from him. One of the criminals in the neighborhood, who saw Frances enter a house, tries to blackmail Vic. Vic attempts to silence him with money but fails and is forced to kill him. Now, Vic has proven his loyalty to Oswald. Sophia searches Oswald's house and finds a photo of Pearl. She goes after her. At first, Pearl resists, but when she learns that Oswald has lied to her about important matters, she reveals Frances's whereabouts. Due to a sharp decline in sales and people's fear of working with him, Oswald offers a night of free bliss distribution. This move allows many people to try bliss, and sales increase even further. Frances's situation worsens. The area where they live has no electricity. One day, Oswald finds his mother in the bathtub, severely affected by the cold from sitting there for too long. He goes to a congressman named Heidi, threatening him to have electricity restored to their neighborhood. Oswald meets with all the big players in the drug trade and asks them to unite. At first, they are unwilling to cooperate, but Oswald's persuasive speech convinces them one by one. Oswald's mother's illness stems from past events. She had 3 sons, and Oswald was the most attached to her. He was deeply jealous of Frances' affection for his brothers. Frances worked long hours to support the family. One day, when Oswald and his brothers went out, they played hide-and-seek and made fun of Oswald. Hurt and angry, Oswald locked the well his brothers were hiding in, leaving them trapped. While it rained heavily, Oswald returned home to his mother, claiming he hadn't been with his brothers. He and his mother watched a movie together, completely unaware that the rainwater had risen so much that his two brothers drowned in the well. After her sons' deaths, Frances became deeply withdrawn. Eventually, she came out of her room and took Oswald out for food and dancing. She made him promise to make her happy, buy her a penthouse, and prove himself worthy. When Oswald returned home, he realized Sophia and Salvatore had taken his mother. Salvatore was looking for the Bliss Production Center, and Oswald, desperate to save his mother, led them to the basement. However, Oswald's men, prepared for such an event, cut the power and attacked them. Oswald killed Salvatore, then negotiated with Sophia. He offered her everything in exchange for his mother. Sophia agreed but secretly sent a car bomb after them. The bomb exploded, destroying the basement and the entire neighborhood, killing many people. Vic, who had gone to gather allies for help, returned to find everything in ruins. Seeing the destroyed Bliss Center, their allies abandoned them. Vic, who treated Oswald like family, searched for him anxiously, while many assumed Oswald was dead. Through hypnosis, Dr. Rush learned about Frances' past. After her sons' deaths, Frances found something in Oswald's pocket, realizing he had lied and was with his brothers that day. The revelation that Oswald had killed his brothers was a devastating blow to her. Frances hated Oswald after this. The criminal she worked for gave her two options: either use Oswald, raise him, and make him useful because he was loyal, or have him killed. Frances chose the first option. She took Oswald out to dinner, planning for the man to kill him, but while dancing with Oswald, she changed her mind. Frances knew her son would become a monster one day, and she played a significant role in creating that monster. Sophia's men brought Oswald to her. Knowing his past, Sophia demanded he confess to killing his brothers. Oswald denied everything. Both mother and son tried to avoid the truth. Sophia threatened to cut off Frances' finger if Oswald didn't confess, but he remained silent until Frances finally spoke. It was then that Oswald realized Frances had always known he killed his brothers, hated him for it, and only used him to get what she wanted. Frances told Oswald, "You're a disappointment," then broke a glass bottle and stabbed her son in the stomach. Overwhelmed by the memories, Frances suffered a stroke. Oswald freed his hands, shot at the others, and took his mother to the hospital. Sophia decided to hand over the family business to someone else and leave Gotham. She declared that whoever found Oswald first would inherit the business and become the king of Gotham. After reuniting with Vic, Oswald approached a politician named Heidi. He suggested framing Sophia for destroying the Bliss Center, run by Salvatore, to close the case and make Heidi a hero in the public eye. The Chinese mafia found Oswald and informed Sophia. On her way to the airport, Sophia decided to meet near the airport. Before leaving, she happily burned down her house and all her belongings, watching her past go up in flames. When Sophia arrived at the meeting spot, she realized it was a trap. Oswald had promised all the major henchmen that their lives would change if they allied with him. They killed their bosses, as they were tired of being humiliated and oppressed. Oswald knew exactly how to earn their respect and make them loyal to him. Oswald forced Sophia into a car at gunpoint, taking her on a drive like old times. When Sophia got out of the car, Oswald pointed the gun at her back. Sophia was ready to die, but when she turned around, she saw the police. According to Oswald's plan, Sophia was blamed for everything and sent back to Arkham. Frances, now in a vegetative state due to her stroke and old age, lay in the hospital. Oswald told her, "I kept my promise and became the king of Gotham." Oswald thanked Vic for all his help, saying they only had each other. But knowing Vic knew too much, Oswald suffocated and killed him. This marked the peak of Oswald's ruthlessness. In the end, Oswald took his mother to a penthouse with a beautiful view of the city, fulfilling the promise he had made to her years ago. Thus, a small-time criminal rose to become the king of Gotham's drug trade.